Section 14. Glossary. Active device. Any device capable of dynamically controlling and or converting a source of electrical energy by the application of external electrical stimulus. Alliance. A cooperative of up to 4 FRC robotics competition teams. Alliance area. A 26-foot, 11 1/8 inch wide by 9 foot, 10 1/4 inch deep, infinitely tall volume formed by and including the Alliance wall, the edge of the carpet, the Alliance colored tape, guardrail, and the amp wall. Alliance captain. The designated student representative from each Alliance lead. Alliance wall. Separates robots from drive team members in the Alliance area. Amp. A structure used by robots to pass notes to the Alliance area. Amp zone. A 10-foot, 10-inch long by 1 foot, 5 3/4 inch wide, infinitely tall volume defined by the amp wall, guardrail, Alliance wall, and Alliance colored tape. The amp zone includes the tape. Amplified. The state in which FMS increases the number of match points awarded for notes scored in a speaker per table 6-2. Arena. Includes all elements of the game infrastructure that are required to play Crescendo, presented by Haas. The field, game pieces, queue area, team media area, designated technician area, and all equipment needed for field control, robot control, and scorekeeping. Arena fault. An error in arena operation. Auto. The first 15 seconds of the match, and the FMS blocks any driver control, so robots operate with only their pre-programmed instructions. Backup pool. The group of teams willing and able to join an alliance during the playoff matches if needed. Backup team. The team whose robot and drive team replaces another robot and drive team on an alliance during the playoff matches. Bumper. A required assembly which attaches to the robot frame. Bumpers protect robots from damaging / being damaged by other robots and field elements. Bumper zone. The volume contained between the floor and a virtual horizontal plane 7.5 inches above the floor in reference to the robot standing normally on a flat floor. Bypassed. A state applied to any robot which is unable or ineligible to participate in that match, as determined by the FTA, LRI, or head referee. Center line. A white line that bisects the length of the field. Coach. A guide or advisor. Coach line. A black line in the Alliance area that extends from the end of the Alliance wall, amp side, to the edge of the Alliance area. Component. Any part in its most basic configuration which cannot be disassembled without damaging or destroying the part or altering its fundamental function. Continuous. Describes durations that are more than approximately 10 seconds. Control. An action by a robot in which the note is fully supported by the robot or is intentionally pushes a note to a desired location or in a preferred direction, i.e. hurting. COTS. A standard, i.e. not custom order part commonly available from a vendor for all teams for purchase. Custom circuit. Any active electrical item that is not an actuator specified in R501 or a core control system item specified in R710. Disabled. The state in which a robot is commanded to deactivate all outputs, rendering the robot inoperable for the remainder of the match. Disqualified. The state of a team in which they receive 0 match points and 0 ranking points in a qualification match, or causes their alliance to receive 0 match points in a playoff match. Drive team. A set of up to 5 people from the same FRC robotics competition team responsible for team performance for a specific match. Driver. An operator and controller of the robot. Driver station. One of 3 assemblies within an alliance wall behind which a drive team operates their robot. Ensemble. A scoring achievement in which an alliance has at least 10 stage points and at least 2 on-stage robots. Fabricated item. Any component or mechanism that has been altered, built, cast, constructed, concocted, created, cut, heat-treated, machined, manufactured, modified, painted, produced, surface-coated, or conjured partially or completely into the final form in which it will be used on the robot. Field. An approximately 26-foot, 11 1/4 inch by 54-foot, 3 1/4 inch carpeted area bounded by inward-facing surfaces of the Alliance walls, sources, amps, and amp pocket walls and guardrails. Field staff. The collective group of people working on or near the field responsible for making sure the matches are cycled through efficiently, fairly, safely, and with a spirit of cooperation, gracious professionalism, and generosity of spirit. FMS. The field management system. Foul. A credit of 2 points towards the opponent's match point total. Frame perimeter. The part of a robot contained within the bumper zone and established while in the robot starting configuration. That is comprised of fixed, non-articulated structural elements of the robot. FTA, First Technical Advisor. Game piece, a note or a high note. Harmony, a state when more than one robot is on stage via the same chain. High note, the same size, shape, and material as a note, but also has 3 equidistant pieces of white gaffer's tape that wrap around the circular cross-section. Human player, a note manager. Inspector, a person determined by FRC to accurately and efficiently assess the legality of a given part of a robot. KOP, the kit of parts. Lineup, the 3 teams participating in the match and their selected driver stations. Leave, a scoring accomplishment in which a robot's bumpers must completely clear its robot starting zone at any point during auto. LRI, the lead robot inspector. Major mechanism, a group of components and or mechanisms assembled together to address at least one game challenge, robot movement, note manipulation, field element manipulation, or performance of a scoreable task without the assistance of another robot. Match, the 2 minute and 30 seconds in which a robot is enabled to play crescendo. Mechanism, an assembly of components that provide specific functionality on the robot. A mechanism can be disassembled and then reassembled into individual components without damage to the parts. Melody, a scoring achievement in which an alliance has at least 15 if cooperation bonus, amp and speaker notes. Momentary, describes durations that are fewer than approximately 3 seconds. MXP, My Rio expansion port, the expansion port on the Robo Rio. Note, an orange foam torus with a 10-inch inside diameter, 1 foot 2-inch outside diameter, and 2-inch thickness. On stage, the state of a robot at the end of a match provided it's only contacting D, truss legs, pink shaded elements in figure 6-3 via robot bumpers, E, game pieces, F, chain facing vertical surfaces of the core with regards to the chain used by the on-stage robot, green shaded element in figure 6-3, G, carpet facing surfaces of the core, blue shaded elements in figure 6-3, and H, a single stage chain highlighted in orange in figure 6-3. I, another robot qualified for on-stage points. J, another robot awarded the ensemble RP because of a G24 infraction and an opponent robot. Operator console, the set of components and mechanisms used by the drivers and or human players to relay commands to the robot. Park, a state in which a robot's bumpers must be partially or completely contained in the stage zone at the end of the match, more specifically per criteria described in Item C of Section 6.5 scoring and does not meet the criteria for on-stage. Passive conductor, any device or circuit whose capability is limited to the conduction and or static regulation of electrical energy applied to it, e.g. wire, splice, connector, printed wiring board, etc. PCM, Pneumatics Control Module. PDH, Power Distribution Hub. PDP, Power Distribution Panel. PH, Pneumatics Hub. Pneumatic Hub. Pin, an action by a robot that is preventing the movement of an opponent robot by contact either direct or transitive, such as against a field element. Podium, an Alliance-colored HDPE panel attached to the stage leg facing the Alliance wall. Red card, a penalty assessed for egregious robot or team member behavior or rule violations which result in a team being disqualified for the match. Referee, an official who is certified by FRC to enforce the rules of crescendo. Repeated, describes actions that happen more than once within a match. Robot, an electromechanical assembly built by the FRC robotics competition team to play the current season's game and includes all the basic systems required to be an active participant in the game. Power, communications, control, bumpers, and movement about the field. Robot starting zone, a 6 foot 4 1/8 inch wide by 23 foot 8 1/8 inch long, infinitely tall volume bounded by the Alliance wall, amp zone, opponent source zone, and black tape. The robot starting zone includes the black tape and excludes the amp zone and source zone tape. RP, ranking point. RPM, radio power module. RS, ranking score. RSL, robot signal light. Signal level, A term used to characterize circuits which draw less than or equal to 1 amp continuous and have a source incapable of delivering greater than 1 amp, including but not limited to Robo-Rio non-PWM outputs, CAN signals, PCM/PH solenoid outputs, VRM 500 milliamp outputs, RPM outputs, and Arduino outputs. Source: an assembly through which human players feed notes into the field. Source area: a 5-foot 3/4 inch wide by 15-foot 10.5 inch long, infinitely tall volume bounded by the source wall, the edge of the carpet, and alliance-colored tape. The source area includes the tape. Source zone: an infinitely tall parallelogram-shaped volume bounded by the source wall, the opponent's alliance wall, and alliance-colored tape. The source zone is 1 foot 6 3/4 inches deep with respect to the source wall and includes the alliance-colored tape. Speaker: consists of a subwoofer and all elements above and behind the alliance wall. Spike mark: one of 11 marks used to identify placement of notes before the match. Spotlight: a scoring achievement for a high note on a microphone. Stage: a 3-leg structure and 10 foot 1 inch from its corresponding alliance wall. Each stage consists of truss feet, truss segments, truss junctions, aluminum framing, and polycarbonate sheets. Stage zone: an infinitely tall 6-sided volume surrounding the stage bounded by and including the alliance-colored tape. Starting configuration: the physical configuration in which a robot starts a match. Starting line: a white line spanning the alliance area and adjacent source area that is parallel to and located 2 feet from the bottom square tube of the alliance wall to the near edge of the tape. Student: a person who has not completed high school, secondary school, or the comparable level as of September 1 prior to kickoff. Surrogate: a team randomly assigned by the FMS to play an extra qualification match. Tech foul: a credit of 5 points towards the opponent's match point total. Technician: a resource for robot troubleshooting, setup, and removal from the field. Teleop: the teleoperated period. Trap: the volume bounded by the 4 square tube segments highlighted in Figure 5-10 and the plastic panels covering the volume front and back. Vendor: a legitimate business source for cost items that satisfies criteria defined in Section 8 Robot Construction Rules. VRM, voltage regulator module. Wing: an infinitely tall volume bounded by the alliance wall, opponent's source wall, guardrail, the alliance-colored line that spans the width of the field, and amp wall. Yellow card: a warning issued by the head referee for egregious robot or team member behavior or rule violations.